me just a second, folks, and we'll be ready to go. Give me just a moment, folks. Thought I had it all figured out, but I forgot something. Yeah, there we are. We'll get some baits out there and we'll be ready to go. With any luck, actually, we'll be coming out here later. She's going running tonight. She's not sure where her and her friend are going to go running at. So they may come out here and they may not. If you're wondering why I'm not going to be out there running with her, well, if you're wondering that, I can't help you. Actually, pretty working off. See how we have weights, 1, 2, okay. Get a couple of weights tied up here, folks. Six people here, awesome. Well, we're going to be fishing for catfish. And once I get some baits in the water, we'll talk about tips, tricks, and all that fun stuff. So I guess we'll start off with the first tip, which is to have bait in the water. Now I'm using chicken today, and I'm using chicken out of convenience. Made some chicken for supper last night, and these are kind of the scraps from that. have downsized my hooks. These are probably 5 or 6/0. They may even be as low as 3 or 4. The reason being, this lake is just a park lake, stocked. We do a fishing rodeo every year. Probably a month and a half ago they had it this year. And they stock it, and the kids come out and they catch whatever they catch. And you know, it's a fun event that the park department puts on. And there's bluegill, there's crappie, there's turtles, there's carp. I'm sure there's a few different types of sunfish. There's black bass, of course, which, if you want to get technical, is a type of sunfish, but when people think of sunfish, that's not what they're thinking of. These are just small pieces of chicken breast. Like I said, I was cooking chicken last night. I got a family pack from Walmart, and one of the things you can get with cheaper chicken is it's not big as well, right? Just some extra stuff hanging on there that you don't want. One of those things is the giant artery between the tender part of the chicken and the breast, and that thing got to go. The rods we're using today, the orange ones are Uncle Lou brand. You can find Uncle Lou on Facebook. He doesn't have a sport foot. Just look through Facebook. And the blue rod is a force rod by Purple City Anglers. They were nice enough to donate some prizes to the East Tennessee Gathering this year. And my lovely girlfriend won one of those force rods. The reels are going to be Abu Garcia Catfish Special 6500s and a Carp Special 6500, which are actually the same reels as the regular Abu Garcia C3 6500, with the exception of they have a power handle. And the carp rods, the most recent iteration, don't. This is the previous generation that does. All right. Move my camera closer so I can read. Okay. Hey, Casual Fabio or Fablo DM, how you doing, my friend? Big Al's good to see you. Hunter Smith, good to see you. Thompson Outdoors and More, just 3 miles east of the Watts Bar Dam in East Tennessee. Go see Josh Thompson and all his family at Thompson Outdoor and More. Wild Hook Adventure, good to see you. MBP Fishing, good to see you. Doom Chest, appreciate the love, my friend. So, I'm at a local park lake, and that's just because it's close to my house. I live in the Memphis area, and other than the Mississippi River, two closest lakes to my house, well, Mississippi is about 30 minutes away. There are 2 TWRA lakes that are no wake lakes, which is not a bad thing. Keeps the pleasure boaters off. But one of those is 30 minutes away. The other one's 45 minutes. The Mississippi River, the 30-minute away location, is has a consumption advisory, so I tend to go up north of Memphis up to the Shelby Forest area, and that's about 45 minutes away as well. You went to the dam and didn't catch anything, tablet. Well, that happens. Getting skunked is part of the game. If it was crazy, everybody did. So the water temp, I don't know about here. I just got back from Florida last weekend, and I don't know what the water temp was, but it was warm to the touch. I mean, like really warm. I had some shrimp, some live shrimp that I had in a bait bucket that was floating in the Intracoastal Waterway. And the ones that didn't survive actually cooked. They were pink. Yep. 30 feet above flood stage, or 30 feet up in St. Louis. Yeah. I saw that the dam broke in Evansville, Indiana, which is not the Mississippi, but I think that's off the Ohio. Michael Lockhart, I'm fishing on Appling Lake. It's in Appling Park-ish. Got a bunch of bites and didn't catch anything. That happens as well. I use circle hooks, and a lot of people have gone to circle hooks. They are basically, you know, if you grew up, sorry, I'm showing my age here, watching Bill Dance or Hank Parker or Jimmy Houston or Roland Martin or any of those guys, you know, they especially Bill Dance, man, that man could do a hook set that, you know, with the strength of Thor himself. But with circle hooks, you just kind of reel down, and as a hook tries to exit the mouth, because it's got the shape of the hook, it'll usually catch him right in the corner of the mouth. Hey, let's have a cup of coffee. That's Clyde. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. So a lot of us use circle hooks, especially in the catfish community. Any kind of set rig like this, it's really best to use circle hooks, in my opinion. For one, even if the fish swallows the hook, there's a very big chance that that hook, because of its shape, will actually come right back out of the throat. If you use an offset circle hook, that's where the shank and the point are not in the same plane. It's bent some. Those are going to be more apt to gut hook than an inline circle hook. And that's just where, you know, if you lay it flat on the table, it lays flat on the table. There's no bounce in it because it's not offset. Also in Florida, where I was fishing, like the reef fish, you have to use a non-offset circle hook and non-stainless steel. If you're fishing for sharks, it has to be non-stainless steel, I believe, non-offset as well. So I tend to get non-offset when I can. They're just not that easy to find, to be honest with you. Hey, Seago! Well, Seago, it's not so much laziness as it is conservation, because let's be honest, hook sets sell, right? Everybody wants to see a big giant hook set. We've replaced hook sets with takedowns, but yeah, I mean, it's not really out of laziness as much as it is for the conservation. So that you know, the worst thing you do, and you know this, Tabitha, no, I'm back in the Memphis area. You know this, you go, you know, the worst thing you can do is catch a fish and it die when you are not planning to harvest that fish. So it's not a laziness thing as much as it's conservation. Because let me tell you, J hooks are cheaper. And Tabitha, I was in Pensacola on the Intracoastal Waterway. There was a whole bunch of eelgrass. If you check out some of my, if you check out my channel, there are some videos from there, shorts. I'm sure there'll be a couple more videos coming soon. Had a really good time. I had two. I don't know what they were, but I had two bites that should have ended better than they did. They both broke off. 40-pound mono on a 30-pound braid. They all broke off on the leader. And they both, yeah, they both. One of them got me tied up in a dock, and the other one just went straight out towards the channel. And I tightened the drag down, and he went bye-bye. But it was not 30 pounds of weight, that's for sure. 40 pounds of weight, definitely. So I think it was something with teeth. Of course, almost everything down there has teeth. Yeah, Mustad makes some good hooks. Mustad makes both good hooks and not so good hooks. Like their ultra points and ultra perfect circle demon hooks and stuff like that. Perfect, I don't know. Those are some really good ones, but they also have a cheaper line of hooks that they're okay. Yeah, the tip basically it's got a deeper gap than a J hook, and then about the last quarter inch or so is turned inward towards the shank, and that's what allows it to set the hooks for you. Because as the fish swims off, the bait starts pulling, and the hook catches the corner and it sets. What part of Kentucky are you from, Tabitha? Kentucky's like Tennessee. It's a long state. I'm guessing you're over by the Cincinnati side. Gamakatsu, which is actually Gamakatsu, you're correct. Hey, Duke City Fishing. Gamakatsu makes some good hooks. They are the gold standard, especially in a lighter wire hook. Mustad and places like that will tend to use a heavier wire. Gamakatsu, especially for their bass stuff, their extra wide gaps and stuff, it's a thinner wire, but it's a very strong hook, but you pay for it. You truly do. They are not inexpensive hooks. If you can find Gamakatsu hooks on sale, buy all of them. They are good hooks. There's just if I were sponsored by somebody, I'd still tell you they're great hooks. Bass Pro Shop brand hooks are not bad. The XPS, yeah, and the hooks at Academy, they're private label hooks. They're the H2O, They're not the best. They're not the sharpest out of the bag, but they're pretty good. If you're looking for budget hooks, of course, Eagle Claw, they make some better hooks and some not good hooks at all. But overall, you can get some good Eagle Claw circle hooks for a fair price as well. On these, I've got 30-pound leader and 40 or 60-pound mono, 30-pound mainline and 40 or 60-pound leader. These are my catfish rods for everywhere. I would use a lighter power rod actually for like lakes like this with a thinner line and smaller leader, but I love how these orange rods they show up so well on camera. My lighter power rods, like the mediums, they aren't as pretty. And 2 years ago, 3 years ago, if you'd have told me that I cared about pretty rods, I'd have laughed at you going, I don't care what they look like, but these show up well on camera. And that's why I like them. And those force rods, that one is more of a lighter power than the Uncle Lou's medium heavies. They all have the glow tip, but that also has some glow tape or something between the wraps of the eyes. So under a black light or at night with light shining on them, they look really nice as well. Black rods against a dingy water, they disappear. That's the problem. You can't see them very well. Arlington, Kentucky, okay. Well, now MVP fishing, Missouri's a weird one. I believe it's 3 rods if you are not on the Mississippi, but if you're on the Mississippi and you put, I forget what it is, I think it's your license number somewhere on the rod, and if I turn one of these around, it's probably got a piece of tape on it from when I was in Missouri. You can use, I don't know, up to 100 or up to 50 or 100 hooks, I forget. It's weird. Tennessee doesn't have a limit. I think it's 100 hooks total. And honestly, I don't know that it makes a difference one way or the other if I'm using 1 rod or 20 rods if I'm throwing them all back anyway. So in Florida, I tend to use a braid for my main line, but otherwise I'll tend to use a monofilament for my main line. The monofilament I use is Suffix. I get it off of Amazon for about 35 bucks for a spool to last you for a long time and 30-pound test. Um, I mean, like, I ain't want to guess how many yards the line is. I want to say it's over 2,000 yards. It's made, I think, Berkeley? I forget who owns Suffix, but it's one of the bigger companies. No action on the water. Any shad in there? I don't think they're going to be shad in here unless they stock them. The main forage is going to be bluegill and crappie. I wish they did have shad in here. I have never seen one come out of here. Not seen them flipping or anything like that. Yeah, Duke, only 2 in New Mexico. Yeah, see, I understand it if you've got people that are just coming and taking all the fish they can take. But I'm also a believer, especially if you're in a boat and you're not using like planer boards and you've got, 8 baits within a, 10-foot wide space. It doesn't matter if you got 4 or 8 baits. They're still, they'll find the other one if they don't. Harlan, Kentucky. Okay. Thank you, Tabitha. Prime Day today, and man, they are letting me know. I've got nothing but notifications about, hey, save on this, save on that. Never anything I want, but oh well. There's a good breeze blowing out here. I hope that the noise is not bad on the phone. The breeze is the only way I can make it out here today because it's like 96 degrees right now. We got 12 people watching. I am thankful for each and every one of you. If you feel like hitting the thumbs up, go ahead. And if you think I'm an idiot, then hit the thumbs down because, people need to know if I'm an idiot. I mean, I already know I'm an idiot, but that's a whole other issue. And there's a lot of newer people in here that I don't tend to see around on the catfish streams. There's a lot of good people in the catfish community. Bank fishing adventures, fun fishing adventures, pontoon Jody, skipjack Cindy's outdoor adventures, rods fishing adventures. There's a ton of people that they go live. It's a really good group of people. Everybody's got their own personality. A day on your location. I don't know what that means. Well, thank you. I try to make good casts. Doesn't always work that way. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. It is day in here. Yes. It's what is it? 5:30, 5:45 p.m. I'm in the Central Time Zone, so we're GMT -5 right now, I believe. Yeah, I couldn't even get the gills to bite a couple weeks ago when I was here. They were just kind of like, it's too hot, man. The catfish should be off spawn by now, I hope. But in these city park lakes, whether they spawn or not is a good question. Because most of these are farm-raised fish. Most of them aren't even going to get up with big enough size to reproduce. Hey, Tony, not a problem, my friend. Hope everything's going good for you down in Brazil. Oh, something happened and I wasn't paying attention. I don't know if it just, if the rod just, if the way the reel moved the rod or if something touched it, but we'll find out on rod number 2 there. a lot of things I see when new people join these type of lives, because it's catfishing and because they're set rigs, they'll see the tiniest movement on the end and go, hey, there's something there. Really, these fish, for the most part, are going to hook themselves. It was a bite. Okay. Yeah, I saw the bottom of the rod move, and by the time I looked up, it didn't matter anymore. That could just be a fish swimming into the line. Could be a turtle down there playing with it. I don't know. And if you do subscribe to my channel, I don't think I've posted one yet, but there are going to be some gaff top sail cats. They are beautiful. They look like fancy catfish. They're saltwater fish. They have long dorsal and pectoral fins. They're fancy. They're very pretty. They truly are. And they've got long whiskers on them. I misidentified some of the fish I caught. I thought I had speckled trout that didn't have speckles on them yet, but no, they're just sand trout. But they have these two fangs in the front. Saltwater fish aren't like freshwater fish. Most of your freshwater fish, ignoring things like muskie and chain pickerel and pike and the toothy ones like that, most of these fish you can live just fine. Saltwater fish, man, they got some teeth on them. Appreciate the sub, Tony Balla. Hey, Don Dwyer. Nothing else is happening with it, so if it was a fish, I would have expected it to, or if it was, if there was something on there, I would expect him to wander off with it by now. And they were fairly tight to the bottom. I'm using Carolina rigs, sort of, using the sinker slides, so the weight floats free or moves freely. So it's just the rod versus the hook. They grab the hook and they'll feel the rod before they feel the weight, in theory. Some of them have some rattles on them. Some of them they all have beads on them. Most of them are going to be 2 or 3 ounce sinkers, which is a little big for this area. It's more for distance than anything because, 1 ounce would hold pretty good. It's not going to roll around because there's not any current here. Yeah, it could be a little bluegill just smacking at it. I am using chicken for bait. Got a family pack last night at chicken breasts and made some chicken last night. So this is kind of the trimmings, the fat and it's chunk chicken. Don't get me wrong. It's not when I trim my chicken, I go a little extra wide. So it's good pieces of chicken, but are good sized baits. But it is chicken. It's not Jello chicken or anything else. It's just regular chicken. So while we got a break in the action, come around front, I want to talk to you about pliers. Now, I'm talking about pliers. I'm not endorsing a brand. These are Cast King. I'm not saying to go out and buy Cast King. There's not a lot. I get about 50% happiness out of Cast King. Their pliers, these pliers are not bad, but again, I'm not endorsing a brand. But these are 6-inch pliers. They have a nice narrow jaw on them. They've got a little crimper if you need it. And the cutters, I like the side cutters as opposed to the ones up in this area. But what happens is, you can go with anything from like hemostats, which are really thin, kind of like locking tweezers, but not really. Those are good for bluegill and really small hooks. You can get the 7.5 inch or larger pliers, but I find these 6-inchers for smaller to medium-sized fish, 5 pounds and under. This is the best size for me. I can get down in the bluegill's mouth a reasonable amount with these. They've got the oomph to get a larger hook out. one of the things we tend to do is we, always bigger is better, and it's not always that. That's not always the case. Hemostats, again, like I said, they have their place, especially with bluegill and anything that has a small mouth, but you can't get a lot of torque on them. And these, you can get a decent amount of torque. Also, you can see that these are straight nose pliers. They don't have the split ring hook on the end, and that is my personal preference as well. I find that split ring hook is useless. It's usually too big for anything, any reasonable size, like bass lure size split ringers. And then when you try to grip straight onto something, you can't because that little split ring nub is in the way. So anyway, just kind of wanted to talk about pliers. There is a brand that I do recommend. They're not inexpensive. And when I get pliers from them, I do it on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. Whenever they have their sale, it's 50% off. But that's dancopliers.com. Yeah, I know I couldn't see the rods. I was looking the wrong direction, but I wanted to make sure I was showing. Oh, you couldn't see the pliers. Anyway, they're just small 6-inch. I like aluminum pliers because they don't rust, but of course they're not quite as strong. But when you're out looking for equipment, it's easy to get bogged down by influencers that I'm sponsored by this company, so you should get these. I don't do that. Oh, the Paraba. I didn't realize that was a catfish, but I have. Oh no, I'm thinking the Arapaima. Sorry. I have not seen a Paraba. I have seen some Wells catfish, not in person, but I've seen them. Pictures and stuff. Pictures and video. The Arapaimas, man, they look like fun to catch. They also look a little dangerous. Biggest fish I've ever caught, about a 23, 24 pound blue cat. There aren't a lot of big cat waters other than the Mississippi River around me. And I'm still learning Mississippi. A small pond like this, you can learn the ins and outs of it fairly quickly. I chose this spot basically because there's so much area around me to fish. The other end straight ahead is, was that a bite or did it lean over again? We'll find out in a second. The line's loose, a little loose. Anyway, but like the Mississippi River, it is daunting. You get on there and the old adage of 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water. There's a lot of water you have to dissect through, and you could take small pieces at a time, but it's easy to get overwhelmed on a big river, especially the Mississippi, because down here the closest dam is up in Illinois, I believe, where the the Ohio River comes in, and up above that I think is up near Alton, Illinois. The favorite fish I've ever caught, that would have to be a 5-pound bass. I was doing a meetup with a bunch of folks, and I had my wife at the time and my daughter, who was probably a year or two, and one of my online buddies had gone, and he just fished the area, and I went through there, and my bait landed on top of a lily pad. And as I pulled it off the edge, I could see the sparkle of the flash of the fish, and I thought I missed it, but I did not. And that was and is technically my personal best largemouth bass. I caught one that I believe was bigger a couple of months ago, but I caught it catfishing. And honestly, I wasn't even tending the rods. They were just sitting there. I was over gabbing with friends, and I came back to get something, and lo and behold, it's just peel and drag. So while it was a very nice fish, that was about as lazy of a bass fish catch as I could do. And so that 5-pound bass, the reason it's my favorite is because I caught it in front of my daughter. And even though she doesn't remember it, I do. You know, I'm with you on that MVP fishing. I was a lot more into it until this last week. Because I was like, you know, who cares if I lose the fish, right? I mean, I don't want to lose the tackle. I don't want the hook running around with, you know, extra dental work. But, you know, I'd see people that are using, you know, 50 and 60 pound main line and 100 pound leaders. I'm like, really, dude? Really? You know, what's the fun of winching a fish in? Because catfish, especially bigger catfish, they're kind of dead weight. I mean, they get in the current and they can, you know, but they're not like saltwater fish or like black bass, crappie, or even sunfish, right? Those fish, when they hit, they go. And a big catfish, there is a fight. I'm not trying to downplay it, but they're slow and powerful versus small and fast, right? My green rod is getting a bite. Thank you, Seago. I love you dearly. That gets me back for middle rod on everybody, right? Hey, Skipjack Cindy. But I had my heart broken this last week, MVP fishing. 2 different fish break off 40-pound mono leader. And I mean, I didn't even get the fish turned. They can run, but they don't, how do I say that? They're still not an extremely fast moving fish. They're like a diesel. Low rev, high torque. Hope that makes sense. Hey, Knobs Catfishing. Good to see you. Oops. Hang on. How you doing, Travis? I'm doing my darndest. Let's see, try this one more time. There it is. So Travis fishing with Skipjack Cindy, and I talked about Skipjack Cindy's fishing adventures earlier as a good place to go look. If you like bass fishing, Seago Outdoors, Fishing with Modog are 2 good channels that do a lot of bass fishing. They both do kayak fishing as well. Yes, it's a doofus. We already knew I'm a doofus. Anthony J all day. It is windy. The wind is the only thing allowing me to be out here. Because it's like 98 degrees, 96, 98, somewhere in there. Got 11 wonderful people and 14 thumbs up. Appreciate every one of you. I know Pontoon Jody is live with her show. It was at 5:30 Central. I'm not sure who else is live already, but I'm glad to have everybody here. You haven't given me a thumbs up. I don't blame you, Cindy. I wouldn't give me a thumbs up either. Kind of like going on Facebook and liking your own post. Travis, you know I'm bald. If the wind noise is there, do let me know. I'll try to do something about it. like complain. The lovely and talented Miss Ashley is, she got off work, she was going to go home, take care of the dogs and all that stuff, get ready to go running. Her and her friend may come running out here, I don't know. So if she shows up, that'd be great. If she doesn't show up, then I'll have to cuss her out. Hey, Michael Lockhart, I appreciate it, my friend. Cindy, that's hot air, not just air. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that people have joined and nobody came in and said, I just pooped. I've seen that in too many lives, and I don't understand why people would just, that's the first thing they're going to say. Like, so? Yes, Anthony J., I love you. You know, some of us still have all of our rods. They didn't, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, yeah, let it go in the water. If I had a middle rod, it'd be a 12-footer Mad Cats, I believe, that came floating down Tennessee River to me. You know, if the fish cooperated, I wouldn't have as much time to sit here and talk to you guys. Cindy, is there really wind noise, or is Travis just being a guy? That noise is my loud mouth. You should be used to it by now, Travis. I try to say something intelligent, and then just the normal gibberish comes out. Fine, you whiny little people. Let's see what I can do to fix that. You might hear a little bit of extra noise for a second. Trying to wrap something around the microphone. Is that better? Tell me all about it while I check that second rod. It's gotten movement a couple of times and see if it's fishing on credit or not. Oh, it feels like it's fishing on credit. Yep, fishing on credit. For those that are curious, I am using a Santee Cooper rig, which is just a sinker slide or a sliding sinker, your choice. A bead, swivel, leader, and then a peg float that helps just kind of lift bait up off the bottom. And this one's got some marks on it. I don't think they were there earlier, but I'm not paid to think. We'll get this one baited back up and get her back out there. So like I said, I'm using 3 or 4/0 hooks, and then a little bigger than the tip of my thumb to the knuckle of bait. And that's what a circle hook looks like, where it's got the point that turns all the way in like that. Another tip when you're casting, folks, especially if you're casting into deep water, with a bait clicker or a bait caster, you got to thumb it so that the reel the spool stops moving when it hits the water, so you don't get a backlash. Then let your thumb off. Let some more line come out as it goes down. That way it's not doing that pendulum thing coming back towards you. So you can get as much distance as you can. And then once it hits the bottom, then of course you tighten it up. Now, Cindy, this is Mike doesn't want to get sunburnt everywhere. Bank Fishing Adventures. Good to see you. So I talked about Bank Fishing Adventures earlier as well as being a good channel to go watch. That's Stacy. He doesn't mind if you ask stupid questions about his mom. And if you don't know what Stacy's mom is, then you're younger than I am. I think she was actually, Stacy's mom was Jesse's girl. And her name was Jenny. I had to tell you your phone number, but you know. The Seago, I am not looking for angle wings. Those would be angel wings, by the way, just so you know. So Stacy is, let me think. I think Stacy's the one that's in Indiana, and Rod's the one that's north of St. Louis. Otherwise, one of them is north of St. Louis in Illinois, I think. And the other one is in Indiana. And then Fun Fishing Adventures, the 3 Fishing Adventures channels. He's actually in central Missouri. Or south. He calls it southeast. My problem is I lived in St. Louis and I always considered that north Missouri. It's really not. No, you want to ask for Jenny, not Jesse. It's Jesse's girl. Jenny. Okay, anyway. I hope that the sound is better. I've got something wrapped around the microphone a little bit. So fishing can be as expensive or as inexpensive as you want to make it. I mean, you can get away with tying whatever piece of string you could find laying around the house to whatever stick you could find laying around the house. And you can get into some really high-end, high-dollar stuff. My channel tends to be centered around value, and I know it's going to be hard when I told you I'm using Abu Garcia 6500 catfish special rods and carp special reels, rather. The carp special reels, and say, well, now value, those are 160, 170 bucks a piece. Well, I got them on sale. I got them on a good sale. I got some Penn Spin Fisher saltwater reels in combos for, some of them were 129 and some of them were 99 for a reel that's normally 200 bucks or more. Pro Extreme 4K cams, I have not. I can tell you I tried one of the 1080p Temu cameras that was like 23 bucks. What a pathetic piece of garbage. Yes, I am ignoring you. I always ignore you. Hey, Troy, good to see you, my friend. And Angela, if you're here. If you're not here, hey, Angela, anyway. Angela is Adventure America's wife. Adventure America also has a channel. He does a lot of different things. They go around the Corpus Christi area. They do some driving. They do some exploring. Show some tourist areas. Good channel to watch as well. Anthony J. All Day, another catfishing channel. Great guy. I threw my bait off and I'm fishing on credit and I'm not. Listen here, boy. If I pull this bait in, if I pull that rod in, and there's bait on it, what are you going to do? You going to dress up in a wig and curlers? Are you? Are you? Are you? Because I'm willing to make a bet with you. If I reel that in and there's bait on there, I need you to do something. "30-year-old equipment is good stuff." Ah, you're going to make me look like an idiot. I know you are. I mean, more of an idiot. Feels like you might be right. Maybe you're right. No, I don't think you are right there. Chicky, chicky, chicky. I bet you're in there just laughing your tail off right now. And for the next stupid human trick, what are you going to have me do? Hate you, Travis. Hate ya. Uh-oh. That was a hit. A little bit. Yeah, old equipment, especially the rods, are not going to be as sensitive. But I'm sitting here fishing with S-class rods anyway. I'm not looking for a ton of sensitivity. If I wanted sensitivity, I'd call Tony some names and watch him cry. One thing I would suggest when we're talking about equipment, if you ever buy a combo that comes pre-spooled, not like something at Bass Pro where they spool it on site after you buy it, but like something from Shakespeare, etc. First thing you do is you strip that line off. Throw it away. It's been on the reel so long, the memory is just horrible. It's just, ugh. Now, for inexpensive mono, that's good. Now, I'm not saying it's the best. I'm saying it's good quality. Much better than what you're going to get on Shakespeare. Bass Pro's Excel line of brand of line, Berkeley Big Game, Suffix if you like ordering larger quantities. I mean, those are all good brands of line, and that won't break the bank. I use Hercules brand braid off of Amazon, and I also get some off of Temu. I use the 8-strand off Temu. The Hercules, I believe, is 4-strand. You should use 8-strand if you can. I'm not paying Power Pro super slick prices. I'm not doing 30 bucks worth of line on a reel. Just not my thing. To tell you about spooks. So, 20 plus years ago, one of the big topwater lures for bass was a Zara spook, which is just a torpedo-shaped topwater plug with 2 treble hooks on it. Well, the catfish community has decided that because they have some rattles in them and because they float, that instead of using the Santee Cooper rig, you're using a 30-cent peg float, we'll use a $5 Zara spook in its place. And they're painted up pretty and all kinds of stuff. And perhaps the rattles do help. You know, I'm a big believer that sometimes it doesn't matter what you use, and sometimes it really does. But when you start using stuff like Zara spooks, and they're not called Zara spooks, they're called Demon Dragons and stuff like that. But when you start adding $5 worth of terminal tackle to each one of your rods, it gets expensive. Yeah, the bigger spools, especially, I hate single spool reels because, they have what, 300 yards of line. You might use 200 and you have to throw the other 100 away because what are you going to use 100 yards of line for, right? Or, 220 and 80 or whatever. I hate those. I'm all for bulk spools. Once you find a line that you like, of course. Let's see. Swivels. Eagle claw's fine, just big enough, right? Don't get the little tiny ones. You don't have to get ball bearings, swivels, and all that fun stuff. Just, your cheap $1.20 for 10 or 12 of them, dime a piece, whatever. And your hooks, like I said, if you're fishing a tournament where every fish matters, premium stuff like gamakatsu, who can blame you, right? I mean, you're talking money on the line, right? But like I said, the Academy H2O brand hooks, I would suggest sharpening them. The Bass Pro brand of hooks, again, I would sharpen those. The XPS brand. Those are both private labels for those two companies. Eagle Claw laser hooks. Those will get you out for, I don't know, usually about 20 to 40 cents a piece. Fish on the right. Travis, honey boo boo, I love you, and you're getting me, and I don't blame you. Oh, good. And you got Tony on your side too. I bet you guys are texting each other going, hey, let's mess with Mike. It's okay. Middle rod. It's always the middle rod. Cindy, I can't wait till you go live again. I am going to bust your chops. So I was talking about other channels earlier, and I'll talk about them again because it's always fun to do. So Cindy does a Wednesday night show. I think it starts at 5 p.m. Central. May start earlier. Heck, it starts when she darn well feels like it. And they fish into the night. If you're under 18, maybe not the best place for you. It's not nasty, but there is a lot of adult humor. We like it that way. Don't get me wrong at all. I mean, I goof off on there. I say things I wouldn't say on my own channel. And we all kind of feed off each other, and it's a fun atmosphere. But again, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily kid-friendly. The orange rod, fourth from the left. I'm looking at the third rod. It's got a little bounce to it. Say about taking off line by using a nailless nail knot. I'm guessing that is a knotless snell knot. Yes, the tripod is going off. That's it. Another thing, folks, that you can do, especially if you have, I use Daiwa Regal LT spinning rods, 1000 size, for, it's my favorite pan fishing, bluegill, crappie, whatever, reel. But it's a deep spool reel. So what you can do, it holds way more line. If you ever find the end of the line on that, you've done something wrong. Anything that spools you on that, you shouldn't be able to catch. So what you could do, let's say you break off like a third of the line, tie a uni to uni or whatever kind of knot you want to do. Try to make it as small as possible and fill up the spool on that reel. Well, you're like, yeah, but then the knot's right there close and it's going to hang on stuff. Okay. Take your second reel and then spool off of the first reel onto that, so that your line that's been in the center that's never been touched, your old line that is still brand new, you can reuse it. And because you've added some line to it when you broke the other one off so many times, you've got a full spool. You want to see my toes? If they were in sand, I'd show them to you. And the same thing that I'm talking about goes for braid as well. So let's say that you've you got one of these Abu 6500s that's, you know, got braid on it, and you've been using it a long time, and you're like, I don't know how much I trust this, and I don't want to, you know, dig off, you know, 100 or so feet of line and then have a smaller spool. Well, spool it up on another 6500 in reverse so that your old line is in the center and your new line's on the outside. Hassle boobs. Bring that up tomorrow night, Cindy, because I'm thinking you're more of a pancake type woman than a little Hershey's Kiss woman. Just saying. In other words, big tassels. You leave my chicken toes out of this. I have not seen my lovely Ashley. She may come to her senses and ran off. I don't know. But the thing I hate is when you know, you lose about a third of your spool of line through various problems, and you're throwing away 2/3 of a good spool of, you know, line that pretty much has never even seen the light of day. I hate it when that happens. So that's a way you can save some money. The other thing you can do is you can use backward line, like some of the ultra cheap mono, like Omniflex from Walmart or something like that, and you know, fill your spool about halfway full on that, and then tie on the other line, the good stuff. Something else I've been wanting to play with, but I haven't, and that's using like Teflon tape, like you use on plumbing, and wrapping it around the spool a whole bunch of times, and then attaching line, but I'm thinking the line might cut through that. I love you, Travis. I know you're getting me back for everything I've ever done to you. If only Rudd were here to get me back for picking on his boat. Hey, how'd y'all do last night anyway? I know it was you and Rudd, and I don't know who the other person was out there. I know it wasn't Cindy, because you left Cindy at home sitting on the porch going, man, I wish I was fishing. Yeah, the cheap line snaps super easy, but if you're looking at, you know, let's say you're using 40-pound main line, if you put 60-pound cheap line on there as backer, and you tie a good knot between the two, even if something spools off all your good line, you still got stronger line behind it, even though it's not as good a quality. Anyway, I can't get behind a strand. I used to buy a strand all the time when I was a kid, because, you know, that's what Bill Dance said to use. No, no thank you. Well, I probably do need to move, but you don't understand. I am sitting on my buttocks watching 4 flagpoles do nothing. I do not go fishing for exercise. That ain't them, is it? I see 2 women walking over there, but I don't think it's Ashley. Nah, she would have already yelled at me. So braid is good in anything but rocks or wood, right? If you've got open water, braid is excellent. The problem is, if you backlash braid, you think backlash in mono sucks? Backlash in braid is a pain in the tush. Because it doesn't stretch, it has no forgiveness for you. Now see, that was my exercise for the day. Yeah, with braid, I mean, because there's no stretch in it. I mean, everything all the energy that comes from the tip of the rod is transferred to the hook. It's always good to use a mono leader of some length, just so you got a little bit of shock strength plus some abrasion resistance. But anyway, I digress. Well, Seago, I'd say you're a better man than I am, but that's just opening up a whole new can of worms. Um, I don't know that I've had to cut one out anytime recently, but if you do the whole thing where you tighten the drag down, you put your thumb up against the spool as hard as you can and reel in, um, that often will help. But braid, once it gets knotted, it's a pain. Amazon line. Now, Cindy, what kind of Amazon line you got? Hey, Rod, good to see you. Rod was another one of those fishing adventure channels I talked about. Give him a shout out. Check him out. Out of all the 3 fishing adventure channels, he's one of them. Unless you get. Well, Cindy is not fishing adventures. She's outdoor adventures. Andy makes a very good line. A lot of people love Andy Monster, but Andy in general is good. I used to like Silver Thread. I don't think they make it anymore. It was a copolymer. Rod 5's going off, isn't it? Oh, that's right. Rod is a riverboat captain. I don't think it's fair to. I'm gonna quit watching Rod's fishing adventures then, because it ain't fair, man. He can just troll up and down the Mississippi all the time. I mean, it ain't fair to everybody else that has to wait for a barge bite when you're already on the barge and making the barge bite. Just saying. Just saying. If I ever see a barge coming down the Mississippi trolling out 15 catfish rods, and it's not a pontoon boat, I'll know it's Rod. While I was down in Florida, I saw it was a barge with a backhoe on it, being pushed by what looked like a 20-foot skiff. It did have pushers on the front of it, but I'm sitting there going, that poor thing is doing its best. Fortunately, it was in the intracoastal, because if it had been out in the actual Gulf, it probably would have lost it. Didn't look safe to me. Yeah, Rod's a good guy. If you hear me, 95% of the stuff I say is just BS. Unlike Travis, which is no BS. But mostly BS. Suspending from the tug. That's some turbulent water behind the tug. Get a couple planer boards going. There you go. Yeah, 98% is about right. I was sitting at the poker table one night down in Tunica, just goofing off, and I told the guy next to me, I said, there really is nothing you can say that's going to offend me. And he said, you sure about that? I said, yeah. And he made a comment about my wife, of course, that he had never met. And some things he was doing to her. And I wanted to shoot him right then and there. Of course, all I could do is say, you win, buddy. You win. You got me. You prove that there is something out there that you could say that will make me mad. Where are we fishing? We're fishing in the water. It's called Appling Lake. It's outside of Memphis. It's just a local park lake. Okay, I'll do some bait checking. When I got here, there were a couple of turtles just nodding and hey, that idiot's back. know. Tony went down there and took the bait off of this one. And I haven't seen this rod move. Not even. But at least something's eating chicken. Nothing like going fishing, leaving your rods out 4 or 5 hours, and every time you bring them in, bait's still on them. This one right up close. That's probably 3 feet offshore. And the reason being, the last time I was here, granted I used some croutons to liven things up. One catfish I caught was literally 2 feet from the bank. Every rod except the one Tony told me I was fishing on cribbing on. I was fishing on cribbing. This one I just didn't have enough weight on it, didn't want to hold bottom. That close, so go a little further out. Yeah, make sure I throw a bait on it. And where I pulled it up from, turtle just stuck its head up like, hey, where'd my food go? I appreciate all the mods being in here, keeping things straight. My goodness. Fishing with chicken. Pay Lake. Yes, Cindy, this is a trophy pay lake. It's a local pond, local park. Is the water warm? I can guarantee you it is. I'm not jumping in to find out. Worth it just for the hat? Shut up, Grandma. Tony is such a good friend. Hey, Lisa. Travis was right. It happens every now and then. Even a broken clock is stupid. Y'all shut up. Y'all all shut up. Air one of you. Instagram? What? Lisa, you ain't 20. You don't need to have Instagram. No, not doing garlic Kool-Aid hot dogs. Although I do have some hot dogs in the freezer that I'm never going to eat. Might as well use them out here someday. I try a weightless rig up closer to shore with one rod. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm close. I mean, I'm still like 4 feet out. Your chat keeps freezing for some reason. I don't know why that be, Troy. Seago? There are 3 words you can put in my mouth. The first one is kiss, the second one is my, and the third one is Cindy. Hey, Doc Reed, good to see ya, good to see ya, good to see ya, yeah. My hat's itchy. I love y'all. Rod, do you know how big my gigantic head is? I went to a bowling alley and people tried to use my head as a 69 bowling ball. I don't know. Just about hooked the camera. Well, at least I hooked something. You know what I mean? Looks like he shot it with buckshot. Shot what with buckshot? Check the hooks. Hate y'all. Hate y'all. Trophy turtle pond. Yep, that's it. Hot dog. It's not a pay pond, you monkeys. Paybacks are ascending. They indeed are. I hope y'all are watching the rods because I got to read chat. Just leave me alone. I was 24 years ago. Exactly. I thought you were older than that. I'm sorry. I mean, you don't look a day over 973. In the mood to throw a stick of TNT in there? No, but I do have a crank phone. A TikTok at y'all can kiss my tushy. Joshua Parham. Yes, sir. What I have caught is I've caught one loudmouth named Anthony J. all day. I caught a pain in the butt named Travis. I got mysteriously behaving temporarily Lisa. I have Skipjack Cindy, who I will punish relentlessly tomorrow night. As far as fish, nope. But I'm still fishing for a world record in here, I'm telling you. I would settle for 7 tiny minnows. There were 7 tiny minnows at the altar of the lake. Hey, Randy, good to see you, good to see you, good to see you. Hey, Rubber River Cats. Well, I mean, Lisa, you're behaving more than I expected. How's that? I didn't even catch skeeters. I'm using Santee Cooper rigs with the sinker slides. And apparently everybody likes Rebel River Cats. Everybody's saying hi to him. He's saying hi to everybody else. You know, thank God you ain't that Mid-South guy. I can't fish worth a lick. I've been watching too many John Parker videos on how to catch fish. And, you know, at least if it was still closer to the 4th of July, I could just say I was being patriotic with my flagpoles. But that's getting a little ridiculous. It's a little ridiculous. Randy, old swimmer. There's got to be a story behind that, and I want to know what it is. Tony, there's a trophy rock in this lake. That's about it. I'm glad somebody is on my side, Joshua. Even if you're not on my side. So the right rod line is moving a little bit. That may just be the wind. It may not be. I don't know. Smart guy'd get up there and tighten it up just a hair, but not me. Tell you what, Cindy, you sing, I'll dance. Lisa, and after I told everybody what a good kisser you are. Gosh dog it. I'm going to quit telling everybody what a good kisser you are. I mean, right now, if I challenged John Parker to a fish off, we'd both be out there for 3 months straight and neither one of us catch anything. They had to cut that trophy in half. That's for you, Lisa. Thank God somebody finally joined Hitch. I have been sitting here going, man, I wish somebody had joined, and Jake is here to be first. You know, I was all impressed with Earl's live last night, or his premiere. You know, limiting out by 7 a.m. and leaving by 11, and then with the other stuff, but then saying he'd been there for 6 hours. I'm like, you got out on the water at 5 freaking a.m. What's for? Hitch is just scratching crabs. Uncalled for. That sounds right. Hey, Josh Thompson, Thompson's Outdoor and More, just 3 miles east of Watts Bar Dam, near Lake Chickamauga. And oddly enough, I could be wrong, but I bet it's near Watts Bar too. You know, we can say what we want about Josh, but when the man brings me skipjack for free, and I mean, these were not little skipjack. One of them was bigger than Travis. I ain't saying a lot, don't get me wrong, but still. Handing out big giant skipjack like they were free, and they were from him. He even vacuum sealed them and everything. I ain't saying they didn't have freezer burn on them. I ain't saying they did. I just ain't saying they did. And if you have not gotten to see Josh's fantastic recliner, he has a fishing recliner. It's an old recliner somebody was throwing out. He added rod holders to it. Hey, Brenda. Freedom Redbird, how you been? You got to put monster rod holders on. So the gathering was the first time I've ever laid hands on a monster rod holder. Went out with Jody on her boat. Those things are not, to call them overbuilt is an understatement. I grabbed hold of one of those things and I'm like, my goodness, these things are monstrosities. In a good way. I'd put them up against any shark any day. I wish I had won some monster rod holders at the gathering. I won some Catfish sumo hooks and actually won that force rod on the right there. There was one thing I was really hoping not to win, and I didn't win it, so I'm glad. It was a type of bait, and I was like, oh, please no, please no. I just have not seen anybody have good luck with it. Not mentioning names, because, you
I'm glad that they were kind enough to be a sponsor there, but anyway, I'll leave it at that. See, I think everybody should get one free monster rod holder, because once you have one, you got to buy the rest to make you a max set. Yep, Danielle, that's me. Just like at the gathering, I am sitting back away from the rods doing nothing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's the one that's close to the land. Oh, there's something on there. And it's got a tail. Oh, 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 this may be my PB. Oh, it's a world record. Oh, my. Oh, it's so big, I got to go down and get it. Oh, it came off. And I got my hook stuck in my shoe. There it is. Here's a catfish about yay long, but it was something. And that was the one right up next to the shore. He got stuck on something, what happened. And I didn't get down there fast enough to free him from it. And I probably pulled a little too hard, pulled it out of his mouth. Right. You gotta be kidding me. There's a fire right there. My weights came off. So because I'm using a sinker slide, I just got 2 of these 1 ouncers. Some mono running through them and then tied it up in a regular knot. I guess I didn't cinch it down very well. I didn't cinch it down very well. I'm not doing it now because I can't get a grip on it. Grab these tweezers and use pliers. Son of a. Alright. Came back apart, but that's okay. Got one in my pocket. And it's only a 1 ounce. Get that hooked on the sinker slide and get him out there, and then we'll fix these other sinkers. One ounce weight is no match for the 3-inch peg float. The peg float sitting there up on the surface. Alright. Well, that was fun. Lord have mercy, y'all talk a lot. Did I get a tiger by the tail? I did not. Fishback rod holders are built like a brick house as well. You know, there are several good brands of rod holders out there that are just built hard. Tiger'd run the other way. Should have used Seago. Hush. No pickle makes a grunchy hitch. Jip. Mid-South needs help. I hate y'all. Hate y'all. Yeah, Anthony, did you make a short about you losing your rod like a monkey? Can we not say shit in here? Because if we can't, then I won't. No, don't say shit. Oh, looky there. I got some little duckies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 little baby female duckies. Well, not little, but this year's hatch. Let's see. Half rubber, get the rod faster, leave me alone. Where's the fish? Still in the water. Hate you. Taking a lit. I hate you. Hate you. Hate you. Josh has crochet catfish at his bait shop. Yes, I believe his lovely wife made a crocheted catfish. And I know that Angela made a crocheted fish for somebody. Never listened to Earl. Do listen to Earl. Rubber hooks. I hate y'all. A crochet catfish attacking her in her dreams. I bet she's got more nightmares of a Josh attacking her in her dreams, but whatever. MVP, what does that stand for? Michael Bernard P. It's a strange last name, but hey, you do what you need to do. Nominate AJ for Takedown Blooper of the Year. Tongue to the freezer, no toes. Always behave. Cindy was in chat. Travis, shut up. Travis, what up? Much coffee. Shut up, Seago. Way behind. Whisker Awards. Good luck with that. Seago, how'd you do last weekend? He lost. Mid-South, 30 minutes behind. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like Cindy. Way behind like guys. I believe. Got one bite on the spinnerbait to finish 14th out of 22. It was a very tough day for everybody except 3 people. And those 3 people were called the winners. A lot of hate in here. Catch up. Tighten it up. Because you only got 14th. Where's the fish? Pikarski. Or Pikarski. There you go. 351's a good mod. Okay. I'm 5th in Angler of the Year. Don't know what I'm doing. Well, that's because it's Catfish Angler of the Year. 5th is not first. Chicken toes. Oh, a lot of hate. Yeah, there we go. Rod's going. I hate Rod. That's Knobs doing that. Knobs, there are no rods going down. I don't know for sure what Rod's doing, but none of mine are. Don't bite my tongue. Would you rather I bite your tongue? Just asking for a friend. See, now the problem is I got sweat in my eyes and salmonella in my hands. It could be a country song. I got sweat in my eyes and salmonella on my hands. My dog ran off with my wife. I don't know why she's sleeping with him, but he must be better than me. What hooks am I using? 3-aught or 4-aught, something or another, I don't know. Rubber hooks, clearly. Oh, that lake's probably, I'm bad with guessing. Maybe 10 acres. Definitely 10 acres, give or take 30. It ain't that big. What reels am I using? Hitch, shut up. I've got 3 Uppercurrent Catfish Special 6500s and a Carp Special 6500, which is just green instead of black and orange. It's still got the power handle on it. The newer ones don't have the dual handle on it. I much prefer the power handle. So Cindy, you're wanting Jake to start a train? I do not use your rubber rods. I use 3 of the finest Uncle Lou catfish rods and a force rod, which is actually Ashley's. Because when we went to Florida, God bless her heart, she asked me when we get down there, did you bring my rod? Like, well, no, because I wasn't, those are catfish rods, and we're down here in saltwater, and then proceeded to catch catfish. But anyway, neither here nor there. I have spent a lot of money on catfishing. Or not catfishing, on saltwater fishing. First, I decided I needed 10-foot rods for surf fishing. So I got me a bunch of 10-foot rods for surf fishing. Have I been surf fishing since? Nope. Then the dock was, I don't know how tall it is. It's probably 8 or 9 foot to the roof, or to the beginning of the roof. So my 7.5-foot one-piece rods were not any fun because you're trying to carry them down 3 states away and with kids in the car and everything else. So I went to get some 2-piece rods, and I got some like medium action ones, medium power, excuse me, and then realized they weren't really up to the task of what I wanted to do. So now I'm rod searching again. If I had my druthers, Cindy, I still wish I knew who did that. That was funny. I even tried to warn you, but it doesn't do any good to warn you further down in the chat. But I feel like I'm leaving too much of my stuff down there every time I go anyway, and her dad's gonna be going, look, dude, get your shit out of my garage. Oh, your drone went to Davy Jones Liker. I have bought 2 drones. Both of them I bought for my kids. Actually, I bought 3. The third one I had sent directly to them because the first one flew off and the second one was in a tree, all before the kids ever saw them. So yeah. They were cheapies. They were like $30 drones, so. You think who's ignoring you this time, Travis? You sure are needy, you know that. I mean, they say what goes up must come down, but what I do is, they just go, what goes up goes away from you and never comes back. I hate you all. Is that better? Everything better now? Everything better now, Travis? Everything? Everything better? My thing is I want enough mods that, if I have a bunch of kids come in here talking about how much they poop, they can take care of them. But I don't want everybody to be a mod. Way better, but noisy. Kiss my ass, dude. And before he freaking asks, here you go, Duke. Give you one too, so you can jibber jabber. All right. Is that better? Now who wants to complain? Brenda, I've been trying to get you naked since the day I met you, woman. Travis? Well, Cindy, to be a mod here, I have to trust you enough to let you in my house. I usually do like a 3-hour phone interview. And I need your credit card, expiration date, and the 3 numbers off the back. I need to know your mother's maiden name, your pet's name, what city you were born in, what your childhood nickname was, and what your favorite pet was. There is going to be no salt shaker. You're trying to get me to say the F word, ain't you? Today's stream is brought to you to No BS Catfishing by the letters F and U. I can't do the salt shaker. Pride Month's over. And be careful about who you make pride jokes to, because, oh my goodness, that went off the rails. Man, I know that sometimes I have to explain my jokes, but wow. That one was like, yeah. I get all my bait and tackle from Hitch by Hitch. He sends me stuff every month. He gives Cindy $50 super chats. You know what he gives me? A hard time. And an Earl Cut crab sticker. Lord. Come on, people. I'm trying to make a living doing this. I mean, I'm not monetized yet, but if I were monetized, I mean, just think of all the money I'd be racking in, but y'all are spamming me and salt shakering me. It's kind of disrespectful. I cannot fathom how many flatulent words you're going to put up. Oh, Lord. So to answer the question why everybody's not a mod, this right here. How many hours do I need? Well, Brenda, if you really want to know the answer to that, out of 4,000 hours, I only need 2,500. Only 2,500. I mean, out of 1,000 subs, I used to only need 1,400 subs, so somehow I've managed to get over 1,400. I don't know how I did. I mean, I do know how I did it, and I got to thank Cindy for all of her information and help on that. But you know, when you get to Florida with 600, and I think it was like 669 subs, and you leave with 1,390 or something, I was like, my goodness. I could not believe how many people loved watching what was it that they watched? Oh yeah, the hermit crab. That wasn't even a good video. Well, Hitch, I mean, it's kind of like back when people were buying subs. You know, they'd go and, I don't know, Philippines or Asia or somewhere, and you know, they'd get a bunch of subscribers, but they'd have no watch hours. And that, you know, doesn't do you any good. You got to have both pieces. So, you know, you see these channels out there with 3,000 subs and 8 watch hours. No, why does the Avon lady walk funny? Oh, God. My goodness. My goodness, Tony. I should have seen that coming. over yonder, there's some smart feller sitting under a tree reading a book. He doesn't have any fishing rods, but you know, we can't all be perfect, right? I'm not going to do that, Travis, because you just want to see me. You just want to see my sexy bootay. Pride month's over. Can't be proud of my bootay any longer. Son of a gun. I couldn't find my 40-pound mono because I hadn't unpacked everything, and it was actually in the pocket on my chair. I've been using the 60-pound mono for trying to tie those sinkers up, and you know how well 60-pound mono sticks to itself. I do appreciate y'all helping me. I mean, I got 12 people in here and 23 thumbs up. Where's Becca when we need her? You find Jefferson and you found Becca. Kind of weird seeing them together. Because up until him, Becca's always been, you know, very quiet and not quiet, but very ladylike and reserved about that kind of stuff. Now she's like, give me a salt shaker. Hopefully y'all can see the ducks. That black one's pretty. Mallard with a, almost black body. Very pretty duck. And if y'all didn't see him, I don't care. If I cared enough, I would have gotten up to make sure the video was good. Feed them? No. I beg of anybody that goes to a park, do not feed the geese. Ducks, I'm not going to give you trouble with. Those daggum Canadian geese. Jesus. They are poop machines. Yeah, and Cindy, I probably didn't know the Becca you did, because, you know, Becca, you know, probably didn't feel safe around me. I always did like Becca. And when I was 12, I would have really liked her. Because back then I didn't care about getting dirty and filthy and, you know, sticking my hands in gut pockets and stuff. But now I'm be sitting there going, you know how it is, you know, can you imagine being married to a woman who says, hey, I'm going deer hunting, see you later. Be the only deer hunting widower out there. All the women are like, oh, my husband goes deer hunting, I don't see him for weeks at a time. She'd be going, hey, I'm going deer hunting, see you, Mike. Uncle Red! Meow! Meow! Oh, Seago, you missed it all. Cindy came up live, joined me, and did the salt shaker. Rod, it's good to see you. Glad to know that your boat hadn't sunk yet, that unstable, low-quality boat that you have. I did like my comment, though. I was like, I just tried to steal your girlfriend. I didn't try to insult your boat. And I was never trying to steal your girlfriend because I have, what is she, like 25? No. Billy be like, this is a real catfish boat and it's cheap. Ain't no live well on this thing. This is a catfish boat. You can walk all the way to the back to throw your catfish in the water. And here's a motor. Watch it just sit there and run down the lake. I'm not going to tell you how fast it pushes the boat or anything. I'm just going to... Here's a video of a motor. running. You can share links if you want. You want to share my PayPal link, my OnlyFans link, any of those, go ahead. If you want to share out other people, go ahead and do that too. There's my little duckies, baby duckies again. Well, if you want to see toes, then tell Sandy Toes to come on in. 290. So close, everyone. 290 what? I don't know. Uncle Rudd can't afford a woman. He got a boat. You can afford one or the other. Oh, MVP Fishing, you're up to 290 subs, yeah. Go to Skipjack Cindy's channel, and she's got a video on how to make a short with the Joey, whatever number it is, sound, 773, I think. And if you follow it, and honest to God, I think you could be standing there scratching your butt for 12 seconds, and it would make it. You would get subs out of it. I've had a couple of times that it didn't produce real well, but even when it doesn't produce real well, it's 20 or 30 subs. And that's back when I was down in the 400 and 500 numbers. The only caveat is don't go to that well too often, because people will get, that is the most annoying. Once you've heard that thing once, you're like, I never want to hear that again. There are over 500 gazillion YouTube channels, and I'm not going to ask you to like or subscribe or comment or send me money or, give me your phone number, but if you do, thank you and have a good day. I will warn you if you use the sound. I've only had this happen to me once. There's music behind it, and I never knew what song it was. I just assumed it was part of Joey's stuff. So Joey does a voiceover over a song, and the song is copyrighted, and the owner of the copyright will claim the copyright, but not as a copyright strike or violation. So he's just saying, look, I own this copyright. You can use it, but it's still my copyrighted work. Because if you use AC/DC or something, you're gonna get struck hard. You can make the coolest short out there without that sound and the crappiest one with the sound, and I'll tell you which one's gonna get better. If you want to know, go watch my hermit crab video that has 10,000 views. I've seen 3-year-olds do better camera work than I did on that. Yeah, like I say, it was a mark on there that was, it just said that the content, that the music was copyrighted, and it gave me the option of doing nothing and nothing happens, or I could take off the 12 seconds. So I took off the 12 seconds, and of course that left nothing. But it's so much nicer than, like say if you use somebody that really enforces their copyright. It's like you get a copyright violation, it gets demonetized. If you have more than 3 in a certain amount of time, they get rid of you. It's ridiculous. I mean, if I were playing their entire song, I could get that. But I actually thought that, even with the voiceover he did over it, that would be considered fair use for 12 seconds. But I don't know. Not my problem. Well, Nightbot is set up. I forget what the keyword is. $10 a month. Oh, I hope you're not using Filmora. And I tell you that because there was a content creator that used Filmora, but I think that's a one-time thing. And they include a music library. Well, he got a copyright violation on it. And he went to Filmora and said, hey, tell them that, this is not a copyright violation, that, I can use this. He said, and they did nothing for him. So he's like, screw them. Filmago? Yeah. But the other thing that I want to avoid is using, like Richard Gene the Fishing Machine and Fishing and Stuff both use the same audio song on some of their stuff. That whatever, I forget what it is. And if you're somebody like Richard Gene the Fishing Machine or somebody like Fishing and Stuff, that comes ubiquitous to your channel, and then find out, hey, anybody can use this. I don't know. So I think it's from the free library on YouTube. I can't be for sure where it came from, but I'll tell you whose intro I like. I'm not a big fan of intros at all. I think they're stupid. I think that everybody's trying to make their YouTube channel here, like they're on TV, and you need a 30-second song at the beginning of everything. And if you don't, I'm like, get to the meat and potatoes of it. Say what you got to say. I don't need the background on everything that's happened in your life up to this point. But Outdoor Boys, I love his intro. It is short. It's the best intro I've seen. A lot of that is because they're short. Thank you, Rod. Yeah, you get watch hours on it, but I skip them. That's the first thing I do is I fast forward through those things. And actually, the app I use on my TV will skip a lot of them automatically. Hitch. I hope Earl gives you more crabs. Okay, Cindy, why does Stuart the Fish Whisperer not have a mod on yours? Huh? 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 I really try to only mod people with channels because they understand what a bad mod can do. And they've got skin in the game, if that makes sense. People that don't have a channel, I'm like, you could just screw my channel up and there's, what do I get? I have no recourse out of it. I don't care. Go ahead and say, Cindy. I mean, I know why. But I was just giving you crap because Travis was giving me crap about somebody not having a wrench. Rod, I don't like anybody's intros. I will give you the minute or two countdowns before live streams. Those I understand because by the time, when you start a live stream, you're waiting for some people to join in, and they may have to watch a commercial before they can get in, and so I get those. But I mean, some people are like 30-second intros of here I'm holding this fish, here I'm holding this fish, here. Are any of those fish in this video? No. Then why are you showing me that you can get? I don't care. Well, thank you, Seago. Although I think if you add a second one, it just takes the first one away, but whatever. I have 7 of you folks in here, and knowing I'm up against, is it 7 yet? Oh, yeah. I'm up against Creole, well, not Creole anymore, Muskrat, and probably Jody may still be on, I don't know. So the fact that I'm going up against heavy hitters like that, and I have anybody in here, it's a blessing, folks. It is a blessing. Oh, look, I'm live. I haven't realized it was a first odd number. I don't know what that means, but okay. I mean, any number with you in it is odd. Where's the fish? They're in the water. I tend to leave. See, some people pull them out of the water and they can't breathe out of the water, so I just leave them in there. Well, it's lucky 7. Gigability! I don't know if I've published it yet, but I got a short coming up, or a video coming up. I haven't published it yet. That is actually going to say, I wish Gigability were in here. Because I messed up. I caught 3 trout and called them speckled trout that were too small to have specks yet, because I looked at those teeth. I knew exactly what they were. Well, close enough to exactly what they were. But it turns out they were just sand trout or white trout. But you know, when you see those 2 fangs, it's like, I know what that is. And then it wasn't what it was. But it was close. I was in the right family. And one of them, Ashley caught a croaker. She was catching bait for me. And I misidentified it originally as a redfish. Like, it looks like a redfish, but there's no spot on the tail. What I expected a juvenile redfish to look like. The right body profile, the right sort of lips for somebody who's never held a redfish. And I'm like, well, I got to let it go because I don't know what it is. And she took a picture on and sent it to Google, and they're like, that's a croaker. I'm like, well, that makes sense since it was sitting there croaking the whole dang time. Okay. Yeah, I mean, these were like 8 inches or so. They were, I mean, white trout, sand trout, they're legal at any length. But they have such soft bellies. I guess kind of like a fat bass has a soft belly. Not like a bluegill, which is, you know, kind of a solid fish. I don't know why I didn't expect that, but I'm like, this thing just feels mushy. Seago, you don't have an ounce of fat on you, you skinny little wretched thing. Tony, you literally missed all of the fish. Every dadgum one of them. I almost caught one, but he got hung on the rocks on the bank, and I was too slow and too lazy to go get him, and he popped off. He was at least 6 inches, possibly 8. And he was the one that was right on the bank. Just doing a bait check. And there's a turtle sticking his head up out there. And this one's here really long. But it's rocking back and forth. It's hoping it may not have bait on it. Maybe. I mean, a chicken doesn't come off super easy. Down there, sitting there chewing on it in place. You have to be
wanted by a person. Get a place to put it, deer. Catfishing. Well, the only one I haven't lost bait on. Go ahead and strip this one off because it's been on there a long time. Also going to be very close mountains. All right. How's it going, man?
All right,
One catfish.
what are you using as bait?
Chicken.
Chicken?
Yeah.
I think it's because of the heat. You're not biting.
Oh yeah, it's. You gotta go fishing when you can, right?
Yeah.
I had to wash that yummy salmonella. My rods are not crossed up. I hate y'all. Why y'all messing with me? Travis, don't lie to me. I've been to Walmart. Nobody takes a shower before going there. Thanks for coming in though, man. Appreciate you. Poor guy cannot fish worth a lick. Can't lick what I can lick a fish. You know, watch what you say. Why is he still wearing a hat as the sun sets? Scared of the moon burn? Listen, people. Listen. I do not come here for abuse. I could stay home and get all the same abuse from, well, one of Cindy's loves. That's just me pouring water into my cup. Don't even start being smartasses about that. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. If they even put on their Sunday best pajamas, I'm happy. Because as soon as I take my hat off, y'all gonna talk about how the sun is shining off my head and you can't see. Punks. Dude, they're just so mean to me. They're so mean. It's like the whole world is against me. The whole world hates me. Oh, look, Troy decided to come back. Angela must have told him no. I'll tell you though, Troy's got him a good wife. Anytime I make a small comment, she's like, "Oh, you wrong about that, man." You so pretty, Rudd. Keep it up. I'm gonna get Megan's number and call her. I am not going to call her. I did like her on your shows, though. Y'all had a good. I thought y'all had a good chemistry. It felt good to me. Of course, if it felt good to her, she might still be around. I should have said that. That's mean. That's mean. Funny, but mean. Angela is a good woman. Rudd, I don't fight over women. I just shoot the other guy. But unless she got her own money, thank you, but no. And has her shit together. Because man, even at 50, you would not believe the number of people who do not have their crap together, who are living almost paycheck to paycheck. It's like, I got $5 to last me till payday in a month. Dating is hard when you get this age. Sega, what was your favorite question? I mean, I got the shout out I don't think you were the one that did the shout out. God, that was funny. Of course, Cindy would have read it even if he hadn't tried to hide what it said. She was saying, he was saying happy birthday to him. What's your favorite question? I asked her how she met Travis. Ah, yes, on a dating site. I just assumed that she was at a bait shop. And Travis came in and said, "Hey, baby, I got some bait for you." And she looked at him and said, "Oh, you ugly. Ain't no way." And he said, "It's skipjack and it's free." Oh, okay. Yeah, it went better on their conversation. Oh, man. I was sitting there watching those two trains headed towards each other. It's one of those things, It's kind of like when you meet somebody from an online dating site. Somebody says, "How'd you meet?" And you go, "Oh, it was a blind date." Because, there's some kind of weird stigma about online dating. On that one, I think I would have just said, "You know what? I met her online and left with that." But actually, Cindy lied about how they met. I know the truth. You want to hear the truth? Travis called up the Make-A-Wish Foundation and said he was dying. and he wanted to date with a pretty woman. And Cindy was like, "I have pity on you, boy. I'll have pity on you." By the time she found out he wasn't dying, she was already locked in his basement. Oh, I can tell you how your first date ended. There was a brown chicken and a brown cow. There's probably a salt shaker involved. Just say. For Travis, it was. For Cindy, it was kind of eh. Hey, Presley. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, online dating, especially in a small town, is tough. Because I remember when I first got divorced, I got on Plenty of Fish, which is the largest dating site out there of active users. And I'm sitting there looking at what I thought was a smorgasbord of women who, just couldn't wait to meet me. Okay, whatever. And when you sift through the fake ones, the broken ones, the messed up ones, the weird ones, even in a city the size of Memphis, there's like 5 or 10 normal. And when I lived in a small town, it was like, as long as you're within 2 hours, we'll try. See, go buy me a green rod. Yeah, see, I'll be honest with you, I'm impressed with Travis on that one. Because that's a lot to handle on a second date. Because while you ain't his problem, you're sitting there going, oh, crap. Because, there are a number of young women, not young women, but women my age. It's like, occupation, housewife. Like, you divorced. Or stay-at-home mom. I'm like, what is your plan for when you don't get child support anymore? Figure it out when it happens. I'm like, well, I will not be here for that. Like, I got my stuff together. My only debt is my house. And a truck if I decide to buy one. I don't need somebody coming in with, $60,000 worth of debt. A car with 2 tires on it. And working minimum wage 80 hours a week and never getting anywhere ahead. Yeah, what do you do? I've gotten fired over the phone, but it was also because my boss lived in Chattanooga. And they've been trying to get rid of me for 6 years. So, the whole plan when they bought the company was to fire everybody in the U.S. And they found out I was too valuable. But they had been working on it. And they've been, And they finally implemented a program that did not have a position for me. And if I weren't out on disability at the time due to COVID, I may have still had a job. But that way they eliminated that position completely. The same company you got fired from? Because that employer had actually talked about making me a contract. And I was looking at buying a house at the time. Kind of semi-casually. And so I contacted my mortgage officer. I said, hey, so here's what's happening. My job is wanting to do this. And she said, you will not be eligible to buy a house for 2 years. I said, I'll be doing the same job for the same company. I'll just be an independent contractor instead of an employee. She said, it does not matter. And that is actually what made me buy the house I'm in. Because it's like, you need to get this done and over with before they do that. And they never actually did it. 3 years later, they finally got rid of me. Or 2 years, 3 years, I don't know. But it was a crappy company. But I worked from home. You worked for a company that's contracted inside, yeah. My company was so bad, it was a work from home job. They had a keystroke counter, keystrokes and mouse clicks, and they took a picture of you randomized every 10 minutes to make sure that you were sitting at your desk. Oh, I did the easy thing. I set up a virtual machine, and that's where I did all my work, and on my main machine, on the main desktop, is where I goofed off. So the camera could take a picture of me, and I had a program running in the main window that would click into the work window and do some typing and stuff and backspace out of it. So I got my keystrokes and my mouse clicks in. I still had to sit there, but I didn't do any work. Well, I didn't do a lot of work. But the job I had was one of those jobs where it's like, I'm there to answer calls when they come in or questions from other people when they escalate. So I'm supposed to be available, and I was. And the best, after they let me go, a lawyer contacted me because his client was suing my former employer. He's like, would you be willing to testify? I said, willing? He said, we'll pay you. I said, you don't even have to pay me. I will be happy to tell you. Yeah, anyway. And I don't hate every company I work for. I usually love the companies I work for, but this one was just, they buy software companies. They milk the current customers for everything they can. They're like, well, you like our product, sign up for another 3 years before we raise the rate by 25% a year. And then they just milk it. They don't invest money into the product. They offshore the support. And for anybody in IT, you'll appreciate this. One of the exercises was we downsize the size of the servers until it breaks, and then we make the programmers go in and clean up the code so it can work on less, and then rinse and repeat. So it's like our customers are sitting there going, well, this is not working. Like, I understand, it's software as a service. We're having some difficulties on our end. We're working on it, yada, yada, yada. And of course, the way we define downtime is it has to be completely inaccessible. Well, there's nothing on your website that works. Nope, but you can get to the website, can't you? Yep, then it's up. Oh, it was a shady, shady company. Salespeople would tell the customer one thing, and you're like, that's not how this works. Well, they say you've got redundancy, you got multiple data systems. Yes, we do, but you're only in one of them. Well, will it fail over that? No, that's not how it's designed. Well, we were told. Well, sorry. There are things I can control, which is how I can assist you with the problem you're having. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Dell, you needed therapy a long time ago. I'm just saying. But it does. I mean, yes, I made light of it, but um, I mean, you're messing with people's lives here. You're like, and I'm not one of those people that like, does the whole, well, I gave them 20 years of my service, and this is how they treat me. Well, no, you didn't give them anything. They paid you for those 20 years. But they to just mess with somebody's life and livelihood and just not care, just yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, it's one thing to say, look, we're going to have to make some cuts. If things don't change, we're going to have to make some cuts. And we're just giving you advance notice. But then what happens is the people who are employable elsewhere leave, and you're stuck with the bottom of the barrel. I don't know. Do you know why I'm not facing the camera, Cindy? Because y'all will tell me I'm ugly. The blue rod is just, I mean, I appreciate you getting the color of the rod right, but it's just sitting there. I don't know where you think I'm at. I am right here behind the camera looking at the same rod you are. I still have 14 people in here and 28 thumbs up. 2.5 hours into this chit show with about half of a fish. I mean, if I was hungry enough, I could have got the fish. I was not. I make laziness an art. What words will I never get to take back? Oh, Mid-South is correct. Oh, yeah. Whew. Now, Cindy's a nice one. I like Cindy. Cindy's a sweetie. But some people have a face for radio, and that's me. Y'all are not here to see a big round ball of baldness. You're here to watch 4 rods not move, and I am providing that service for you. Of course, if you want to talk about bad employers, let's talk about YouTube. Hey, make some content. And we're going to make money off of that content. But until you reach certain thresholds, we're not going to give you a penny of it. So let's work for free. What's going to happen, I know what's going to happen. Travis is probably in the shower right now texting Anthony J all day to go, we're going to get him in front of the camera, and then we're going to tell him every rod is moving because he can't see him because he's in front of the camera. I've played this game before. I was born at night, was not last night. Seago, I do the same thing on my TV, man. I've got Smart Tube, I think is what's called. Thing is awesome. No commercials, automatically skips ads, like sponsor blocks and stuff. And that's another, while we're complaining about things YouTubers do that make, if you're monetized, well, even if you're not, but these people that are going there and going, well, today we're gonna go fishing and we're gonna talk about some things. But first, I want to give a shout out to the e-bike sponsor that has sent me this bike. I want to show you all the great things about this e-bike. The last 5 e-bikes that I've shown you, they're not any good anymore. But this new one, this one is, until the next one comes in. And they do that for a minute or two, and you're like, no, I mean, e-bikes sound great. If I ever have to ride a bike again, I pray it's one that's got a motor on it. But then, a little bit more, I can get a scooter. A little bit more, I can get a used motorcycle. A lot more, I can get a new one. I hate you, Travis. Out of all the Travises in this chat that I know of, you're my least favorite. I just want you to know. We went from lucky 7 to lucky 13. The number of people. E-bikes look like they'd be a lot of fun, except you have to understand, I'm somewhere around the 350-pound mark. And, you know, e-bikes for you 180-pound guys work fine. And a lot of them are like 20-inch wheels. I'm like, what the? I rode a 20-inch bike when I was like 12. And I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying, how do I put this nicely? For my boat, I got a trolling motor. If my main motor goes out, I'm going to be riding the trolling motor for 2 miles an hour back to the dock. I have a paddle in my boat because I have to. I will never, ever, I will drown before I paddle that sumbitch back, that boat back to shore. Hey, Kevin Fishes. Brother, I am so glad to see you. I love watching your shows. You know, you have a good time out there. And sorry it took me this long to make you a moderator, but everybody keeps talking and moving you up, and every time I click, I'm in the wrong spot. But with an e-bike, my fear is that if the battery goes dead, like be calling an Uber going, hey, you got room for an e-bike in that dang thing? Because I am not pedaling that thing a whole, no. I do need a friendly person in chat. Well, Kevin, say hi. So they can see that you are in fact blue now. I don't know either if it hurts the channel, but honestly, just being in my chat helps my channel, right? You being here helps. Being active in the chat and keeping things going and giving me something to talk about. Giving me words to say so that we're not all just sitting here looking at each other like we're all stupid. Right? Why am I blue? Probably because Cindy said no. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. Seago has baited me into answering a question that I try really hard not to talk bad about Old Town. Because I would like to be sponsored by them someday, but I can't be one of these people that all I ever talk about is positives. That EPDL is a $5,000 kayak. And I want to say, and I don't remember for sure, but I want to say it's like a 30 amp, 20 amp, 30 amp battery. I got a 100 amp hour battery running my trolling motor. I don't want pedal assist. I don't want a pedal kayak, but if I had a pedal kayak, I would not want an electric assist pedal kayak. I either want a motor, so give me the motor, or give me the pedals, or give me both, but not in the same package. Because I cannot imagine that an EPDL, which takes a proprietary battery, which is probably $1,000 in itself. Because let me tell you, these lithium companies want a lot of money for their proprietary batteries. Mine are the, under $200 jobs for 100 amp hour off of Amazon that have names I'll never be able to pronounce. So the concept is good for, I think, a small group of people. But see, the 132, which is what the EPDL is on, it is a completely different hull than the rest of the Sportsman line. The 106, the 120, and the 136, all with the autopilot motor. They come in 3 different versions. They come with paddle only, or motor only. I mean, you can paddle, of course, anything you want, but you can't take the pedal drive out and put a motor in, not without making a lot of modifications, right? There's no drop-in solution, that's what I'm trying to say. Well, the 132 is more of a big water kayak. It has a lot more, I believe it's got more rocker in it, and I know it's got a lot less primary stability and more secondary stability than the rest of the Sportsman line. The rest of the Sportsman line is kind of a very stable platform, whereas the 132 is not as stable, not with primary stability. Primary stability is, so like if you're standing on the center line, that's your primary stability. Your secondary stability is if you're standing over, if your weight is over on the edge. So if your weight is centered, that's your primary stability. And so kind of like standing on a 2x6, right? Well, if you stand on the edge of the 2x6, it's going to roll. That's your secondary stability. It catches before you roll over. So anyway. So the 132 doesn't have the weight capacity that the 136 or even the 120 has. That was killer number one. It doesn't come in a motor other than the EPDL, which is $5,000. No, I lied to you. It's $6,000 because the 136 is $49.99 and it's $59.99 for the EPDL. Hey, Miss Angela. Now, on the other hand, Old Town makes a killer kayak if you have 27 great friends to help you lift it. It's a very stable. The 106 I have is extremely stable. Boats come through and wake me on the Intracoastal Waterway, and they're not small boats, and I don't feel unsafe. Okay. But like the plastic gear tracks, my kayak doesn't have spot lock. It's just a forward reverse trolling motor. $3,500 is the MSRP on it. $3,500. $3,500. It has plastic gear tracks on it. I paid $150 and now I have aluminum gear tracks on it. The cup holders, there's like an inch or two in the bottom of them that will always be, as soon as water hits them, they have no way to drain. They drain about halfway down and that's it. The rod holders that are built in have no caps on them. Now they don't have holes in the bottom of them, but the rod holder itself can fill up. And here's the dumbest thing I've ever seen on any kayak, and it's common practice. You know where the drain plug is on a kayak? It's on the top. So you have to turn your kayak over. But on the 106 very specifically, under the seat, you've got the battery, which of course you take out, battery box. But behind that is a heat sink, which is where all the electronics are for the, I want to say it's the power distribution module or whatever. So let's say you got a bunch of water in there. You roll your kayak, you take the plug out, and on the 106, it's at the very front of the bow, on the very top. So you take the plug out, you roll that sucker over, and you lift it up from the back. And where's that water going to run right over? If you said your electronics, you're right. I don't ignore you. I would never ignore you, Travis. But to me, there are some unforgivable design flaws in that kayak. The first year I get it, but people told them this, and I understand you can't change the mold. Changing the mold is an expensive proposition. I get that. A lot of R&D that went into that. But you know what you could do? You can get rid of them darn plastic tracks. Hey, Ashley! Hey, Daniela! Yella runs! That's Ashley and her friend that are running. And you know, like with the cup holders, you know, you take something that looks like a Zerk fitting and you put the nipple underneath it or something. You know, you'd have to make something, but basically it's got a hole in it and a tube that runs into, you know, like the front compartment, not the compartment, but the floor, so it can go out the scupper holes. Something like that. Just a 10-cent plastic rubber cap, whatever, that goes over the top of the rod holders when you're not using them. When it came out, I want to say it was about a $2,300 kayak. COVID prices definitely hit it and knocked it up to $3,500. If they put aluminum gear track on every Sportsman, because they're all of them have the same gear track, same size, what would it cost them? 10, 20 bucks per yak? Come on. Yes, I'm just talking to myself at this point. Hate y'all. Hate y'all. Well, Seago, you got me started on kayaks. Middle rod, bite me. Yes, I try to get Travis all the time. I'm waiting for Travis to start jokes about 350-pound man in a kayak. Well, that's the thing. When I don't stay in the kayak, they make jokes. Cindy, you have no idea how many times I wonder who you're fishing with. Does that include tax? Of course it doesn't include tax. And wouldn't you know, like, literally right in front of my rod, something jumped. Bastard. Let me get back. Well, I'm glad y'all love me, too. There was a fish. It just wasn't me. It wasn't what I was going to catch. See, I was about ready to pack it up because it's starting to, get a little dark. And now my girlfriend's running around the lake. Where is she? I don't see her anymore. Fluff the rods. Yes, I will go fluff the rods. I was about to go check the baits. Hey, Cindy. How you doing, baby? Angela, you looking good as ever, darling. Hey, Brenda.
Now that we got the creepiness out of the way. Let's see if you stole my bait. Well, this one still has bait on it. Troy, I'm not ignoring you. I did not have a chance after work to put the catfish rods in those rod holders and see how well they fit. I think it's going to be a snug fit, kind of snug, but I think it'll fit fine. Now what's weird, so these Uncle Lou rods, I'm used to them because I own them, right? This back section is not as thick as you would think, maybe? And I didn't realize it. I mean, it's got good heft to it, good size. But I didn't realize it until I used the force rod, which has a thicker butt foam wrap, whatever it's been called. This one's looking like sticking on credit. Oh. Feels so much better at least getting some distance out of these rods. Man, when I'm fishing in Pensacola under that dock, it's nice to have a covered dock. Please do not misunderstand what I'm saying here. But my goodness, people. It is hard to cast sidearm. I can actually cast pretty good sidearm, but not when I've got to be on one side of a pole and the rod's got to be on the other side, or the bait's got to be on the other side. And yes, I just took my pants leg. Leave me alone. There we go. So no fishing on credit this time. Plus, I'd have the sinker creep up the line the whole time. I'd get you in a hole, tumbling in the air, and where it felt like they're going. Take down rod holders.
had a blim sale recently, and I missed it. They were like, I want to say 10 or 12 bucks per rod holder for those big giant ones that peg into the ground there. Yes, I said peg. Into the ground. Sent them a message on Facebook, asked if they had any, if they had any more coming up, let me know. I didn't hear anything from them. I hate that when I contact a company and I don't get a response. I had the same problem with Catch. They're who I got the gear tracks from. Sent them a message, said, hey, every promo code I've found is old. Do you have any current ones? And are you going to get any of your anodized colors back in stock anytime soon? Because all they had was the raw unfinished aluminum. No response, but they were the cheapest. So I went ahead and ordered a set. And the delivery picture was of somebody's thumb. And they never arrived. So I contacted them and I didn't get an answer again. And I sent them one more message and I said, look, my only option if you don't answer is to get a charge back. And then he's like, oh man, we're so sorry. Let me send you out a new set. And they sent me out a new set and they got there quickly. But I want customer service. Anyway. Does the blue rod have the same action? No. No. So, tell you about that. Thank you for asking. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, what I hate? I hate YouTubers that sing the praises of everything out there. It's like I'm for sale. You give me a pack of hooks and I'm going to tell everybody how you're the greatest hooks ever freaking made. And stuff like that. I can't stand that, okay? So, my Uncle Lou rods I paid for. This force rod, this was won by Ashley. And I am grateful to Triple City Anglers, to Has Life, to all the people involved in that, for donating this rod. To me, the distinction is the fluorescent tape under here, or whatever, fluorescent something, paint tape, I don't know, and under these guides, and glow tip and everything, and it's a good rod, but it's a little expensive to me compared to the Uncle Lou's rod. Now this is a 6 foot, it says it's medium heavy, okay, 10 to 50 pound line, 1 to 8 ounce lead. Uncle Lou's is a 6'7" medium heavy, 7'6". They're both 7'6", medium heavy. 10 to 50 pound line, weight 2 to 10. So 1 to 8 versus 2 to 10. But I can tell you this is a softer tip rod. So this it's skinnier down here towards the bottom, and even not up until here that they're about the same in diameter. Now, I've asked Uncle Lou why he doesn't make a heavy rod, and he pretty much said, I don't see a need for a heavy rod. And he's up north, so he doesn't get 6 mile an hour standard current like we do down here in Memphis on the Mississippi River. I'd like to have heavy action rods. I'd like to try one. But his may be a little extra medium heavy. And I think that the Triple City Anglers force rod is probably a light medium heavy, if that makes any sense. And it's not a worse rod. It's different in that while the power rating is rated much the same, it's not the same in practical use. Thanks for stopping in, Kevin. I appreciate it. The wind is still blowing a little bit, but thank goodness the sun went down. So, now I have some medium rods from like Cast King. I love their Cat Tech rods. They don't make them anymore, so sucks to be you. I've got several of those in medium, and they are certainly softer than the Triple City Angler's rod. Um, so it's really nothing negative about the Triple City Angler rod. I and when I first saw the Uncle Lou's rods back in the beginning of the first time I found out about them, I'm like, who in God's green earth wants an orange rod? I mean, to me, black was perfectly fine for a rod. These people that want to match their rods to their reels, I never understood. Doesn't matter, neither here nor there. But man, they show up so nicely on camera. And I mean, especially right now. I mean, there's no light being shed on these. They just show up good. They just do. That blue does not show up as well. Uncle Lou, I think, also came up with a blue or a purple rod. And while I think the rod is prettier than orange, is just looks like blaze orange. They don't show up as well. So for a YouTuber, because I mean it's all about the takedown, right? Let's be honest. That's all we have is catfish, man. It's not like we're doing these massive hook sets like the Bass Boys do. It's all about the takedown. So seeing those rods move is important. And Triple City Anglers, I mean, when they put that extra wrap underneath the guides, and it's a glow wrap. It's if you're using black lights or even white lights, it's gonna show up real well. I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent. Now, what I will tell you, Rudd, your rod probably helicopters for all I know. What I will say about the Triple City Angler rods, and you'd asked me 6 months ago, I'd have told you that these don't matter anyway. And that's the rod sock they come with. Most rods that come with a rod sock, it's usually the cheap ones, which is what I have, some cheap ones. The cable stretchy stuff. The problem is when you get into these big catfish rods, they have big eyes on them. So this is I don't think it's neoprene, but it is a stretchy material of some sort. Got a nice logo on it. And, hang on. So this did not come with the Uncle Lee rods. I'm pretty sure they don't come with these. If they did, I probably threw them away. So we're going to go with the length of these. The force rod is a good 6 inches longer than these generic ones, right? Instead of this little elastic loop, they've got bungee loop on it, and it's adjustable. So you can run it down longer if you need it to hook onto the reel. They're really nice, to the point that I actually emailed or sent him a message on Facebook and asked him if he had any extra rod sleeves and how much he charged for them. The answer is he does not have any extras. Because I've never been a fan of rod sleeves, because it's just one more thing they have to take off. But the past couple of months I've gotten to really where I use them, and I like them because they keep your craft from getting tangled up. Seago, you're pretty. And I am looking into getting some other rod socks, because the like surf rods, when you're doing spinning rods and you're doing, it's not so much a surf rod, it's because they're two-piece, but when you're doing a reel that's a 6500 size, the rule of thumb is that stripper guide needs to be about half the diameter of the spool diameter. So those guides get big, and those will not, the cheap rod socks will not fit over them. I like the way that force rod sock fits that rod. So there you go. Because with those cheap rod socks, the cable cover kind, A lot of times, you know, you put them in a rod locker, it stays in the rod locker. When you pull the rod out, it doesn't come out because it just has that little piece of elastic that sometimes doesn't meet the reel, doesn't reach the reel. So anyway, I digress. Yep, there's ducks out there again. Let me see, 4. But I think those are the adults. There were 6 not babies, but this year's hatchlings earlier. And there was another set of ducks that came through. That one was a mallard with an almost black body. Beautiful duck. Still had it had a darker green, a brownish green head, but the body was dark. It was like how a catfish looks when it gets up real shallow. You know what, Scotty? You're right. When I was in high school, I was a DJ at the local radio station, and dead air is something you're not supposed to have. So I try not to talk too much, but I do find myself talking a lot. And honestly, the reason I talk as much as I do is because I'm interacting with you guys who are sending me messages, who are doing just helping me so much. Seago, you know the last person who was as disappointed over a 2-inch miss was Stormy Daniels? Just saying. I did radio in a small town, country station. Hello, Sebastian. Welcome in. Glad to have somebody that I don't know. Shout you out. Hey, Sebastian. I don't know if y'all know, but Sebastian's here. Hey, Sebastian. How you doing, Sebastian? Good to see you, Sebastian. No, you can't be a mod before you ask. So the fish count is 0. Well, Seago, I never did that radio voice. I never tried to use that announcer voice. I just wanted to be me. I mean, you know, I could always talk like this. And how are you guys doing? It's so good. It's 922 Crappie Barbecue. My goodness, my friend, it is so great to see you here. And what we're going to do is we're going to fix that economy. Huh? Fake news. Fake news. The economy. The economy. They say the economy's good. It's fake. They're lying to you. I was a small town high school radio DJ, or DJ that was in high school, because the country station wanted to see how many kids they could pay minimum wage. So $3.35 an hour, I was spinning country songs. Got in trouble for bringing in my cassette collection and playing things like 38 Special. I try really hard not to get into politics. I do like political humor. And if you want to laugh your arse off, watch Jon Stewart's show, the discussion about the first debate. Oh, it was hilarious. I mean, it was well done. It was balanced. He made fun of both of them, which is what I love. But I was watching, you know, the news section of YouTube, and CNN released a 3-minute video, everything you need to know about the debate. And all it was the few times that Biden said anything remotely intelligible. Or I guess intelligible, intelligible, not unintelligible. There we go. And I was like, my God. that you can't have watched any part of that debate and thought that that was all that mattered. It was one of those things I'm like, how, you know, I'm all for pumping up your kid when all he does is strike out every time he goes to bat. Sometimes hits himself in the head with the bat because he comes nowhere near the ball. I'm all for trying to cheer on, but that that was that was the worst debate I've ever seen. The fact that in the middle of a debate is discussing whether or not you had sex with a porn star, that does not belong in a political debate. Ever. Not for President of the United States. Ever. Anyway. Modog missed most of his own lives. Don't give him any crap. Well, now, don't get me wrong. If anybody who tells me, hey, go check out this link, here's a story you want to look at, and it says Fox News or News Nation or anything, I'm not opening it. Because when Fox News first started, they said it was going to be fair and balanced, and my goodness, I can't tell you how much I was looking forward to them actually coming live on the air and not feeding us the news. I want reporting. Mike's been live for 3 hours now, and he almost caught one fish. He's had the bait stolen off a few times, and the rods have mostly stood there and looked at him and laughed. Okay, now that is what happened. Instead, what I don't want is, you know that Mike guy, he can't ever catch a fish. I don't even know why he's out there. He's an idiot. He's a moron. I'm surprised he even knows how to cast a rod. And he really should never have. He shouldn't be allowed to touch chicken. I don't need to spend. I don't need you to digest. I want a summary of what happened. I don't need you to digest it for me and then feed it to me. Yes, I am used to wearing earbuds. Wait, you said, hey, Becca, and she ain't here. If she was, I'd see Jefferson too, and they'd be talking about how much they love each other. Honestly, I'm a one-liner kind of guy. I'm a quick quip kind of guy. And a lot of times my comments, you have to be caught up in chat for the comment to make sense. And a lot of times by the time I can get the comment typed out, it's not relevant anymore. So, I mean, I do. Yeah. Mid-mouth is what they call me. But this is not why they call me mid-mouth. They call me mid-mouth because I'm a smartass. Because I don't let a joke go. Like, you know, man, you really had me pegged, and he's been pegged. That's me. That is me in a nutshell. If there's a double entendre or a euphemism or something, I am there. I am literally the that's what she said kind of guy. See, and that's the thing. I can't speak my comments because it will. The speech to text will screw them up half the time, and even when I do type them out, sometimes autocorrect strikes again. Yes, but Danimals, the reason you were calling me mid-mouth was not out of love and respect and about how much I talk. It's about me running my mouth about useless stuff and being a genuine smartass. Oh, I can lick a kitty. Never underestimate a average guy, because what you don't have downstairs, you got to make up. I'll stop it right there. I mean, I did try to steal Alicia from you. I did fail miserably. Still failing miserably. It ain't my fault she's got too good a taste in men. Oh, Rudd is gone. Rudd done fell through the bottom of his low end unstable boat. You know, it was funny, Scotty. I don't remember how. I guess I got on the Snagging Night Live one night or something. I was on with Austin, or Dustin. Yeah, I guess Austin wasn't available. And he's like, I heard it in the other room. I thought it sounded like me talking, which I thought was interesting because when I started listening, I'm like, oh wow, yep, I get it. Danimal, I am like an elephant. I eat a lot and I don't forget. Unless it's something important, then I forget it all the time. What came after 69? Both of us, I hope. Oh, you don't want to... I used to, I used to flash some of the bands. Of course, I always wear t-shirts, so it wasn't that exciting. Because, like, I get up there and, there'll be a couple other women stand up, or a couple women stand up, I go, okay, everybody on the count of 3, 1, 2, and I'm the only one that does it. So, AA, I am going to answer that as honestly as I can. I am not qualified to answer that question. The problem is there are most people out there that will answer that question are also not qualified to answer that question. There is so much confirmation bias off of what you own. I will tell you, I like my kayak. I would not buy it again. I got it at a discount. I would have rather had the 136 or the 120 because they have autopilot. But the deal was too good to pass up. But it's not the best kayak for me. But you talk to people who have those Ascend kayaks from Bass Pro. Most people will tell you they're complete and utter garbage. I've never used one. I can't say that. I don't know. But then you have people that are like, I have an Ascend and it's the greatest kayak ever. Like, okay, I could say unequivocally it is not the greatest kayak ever. A Pelican is not the greatest kayak ever. A Sun Dolphin is not the greatest kayak ever. So there's a lot of confirmation bias. This is what I own and therefore you should get one. Because I spent my money on it, and to say that there's another kayak I would rather have makes me stupid. People just can't get past that. So for Bayfit, what is it you're looking to accomplish in a kayak? First off, if you want a tandem kayak, this may become a fishing show. Holy Toledo. Part of me wants to go get it, and the other part of me like, well, it's going to hook itself either way. It doesn't matter if I ever get there. If I were going to buy a tandem kayak, if I were going to buy another kayak right now, it would be, I think, I'd have to see one in person. The New Canoe Unlimited. Really, Mike? Oh, there he is. He's there. And he's coming straight towards me. Or I missed him. I don't know which.
Is the drag was pulling? Nope. I lost it. But the reason I stayed away from the New Canoe Unlimited to begin with is because the Old Town Sportsman is ready to go out of the box. You add a battery and you're ready to go. It's got the battery box, it's got the wiring, it's got the motor, it's got everything is ready to go. It's got rod holders. It is literally plug in a battery and go. The New Canoe Unlimited is a blank canvas. It has a ton of gear track in it. It has a 360 degree swivel seat, which is something that I really wish I had, and that is because of me and how I am. So I do not have a lot of flexibility. And as you saw from the video of me falling out of the kayak, trying to turn around in the kayak and shift my weight and everything is not something I'm good at. Which is why I kind of knew I was flirting with disaster when I did that right before I fell out of it. So everything behind me in my kayak is like a trunk in a car. If I want to use something back there, I need to go to shore at this point. Now, as I get more comfortable in it, I'll be able to, flip around on my knees and access stuff in the back. But for right now, if I want something that's in the back of my kayak, I need to get to the shore, step out, get it, step back in. The New Canoe Unlimited, or anything with a 360 degree seat, you can, kick your legs over the side, spin around, and get whatever you want. It has no in-hole storage. You can get a gear pod up front, but the kayak is, I want to say $18.99 MSRP. If you want foot-controlled steering and a rudder, that's another $400. The gear pod's something like $250. Then you've got to get the motor mount so that you could put an XI3 trolling motor up front. That's $100 or $2. Then you got the wiring, the battery box, and plumbing it and all that. That's some more money, another $100 easy. But you can make it any way you want it. And when I say a tandem kayak, it can hold a second seat. You can get 2 seats for it. There's also the Crescent Crew. And when I say a tandem kayak, this is literally designed to be either a tandem or a single. Not all of them are. So in the times when you want to take your beautiful wife with you, you can, and when you don't have to. I hate y'all. But the thing is, so I'm going somewhere with this. And like I said, that would be for me. Now that New Canoe Unlimited 12'8", I think it is, it's 41 inches wide. It's the widest kayak I know of. Mine is 37, I believe. It holds 650 pounds. I think it's like 400 with scupper plugs in, out. If you have the scupper plugs in, it's 650. You take the scupper plugs out, it's 400-ish. But whatever. Actually, I'm done running, going to shower. Okay. So she's not coming by to say hi. But even when I add all of that up, I'm still cheaper than an Old Town Sportsman 120 at MSRP. And a lot of kayaks sell at MSRP. I will tell you, look quickly, but Sportsman's Warehouse, if you have one near you, is doing a 50% off sale on most of their kayaks. That did include the Old Town Sportsman 136, and had I known about it, I'd be the proud owner of one. They're out of those. They're out of the 120s.
I think they still have some 120 paddle. I think the closest one to me was Naples, Florida. They won't ship them to you. But on some of the other ones, their Lost Creek Angler is their private label. It is a rebadged Riot Mako. So when you can't find a lot of reviews on the Lost Creek Angler, the Riot Mako you can. They're not good. Magellan is made by the same company that makes the Riot, and I'm going to say Vibe is one of their other brands, but it's not a rebadge. It seems to be a whole different hull, but you can tell from the drive. It's got the impulse drive, which is proprietary to that company, and if you read the owner's manual, it even tells you that. Anyway, so at Academy, I've heard some bad things about the Magellan kayak, but right now, let's see it. Their pedal kayak is $1,200, but I believe there's 20% off right now. And for a pedal kayak for $1,000, that's not easy. I mean, that's a very, very low price. I don't like the color they carry it in because it's like just a tan, but the Perception Outlaw, it's not a fast kayak from things I've heard. It's pretty stable. You can stand up in it. It paddles okay, but it's not going to be a speed demon. I'm telling you, if I could get half off of an Old Town 136, I would have two of them. The autopilot, because one thing I'll tell you that I don't like about the Sportsman autopilot is it's proprietary. Old Town is owned by Johnson Outdoors, as is Minn Kota, as is not Lowrance, Humminbird. So that's why your Minn Kota trolling motors work great with Humminbird. That trolling motor, you can't buy the trolling motor by itself, from my understanding. Maybe if you can prove that you own one of the models and your trolling motor went bad, you could buy one. Maybe, I don't know. But I've heard people that had like the 120 Sportsman pedal that wanted to order the autopilot. They told them no. Not just that it won't fit, but no, we won't sell it to you. Hearsay, of course. It's a mid-mount trolling motor. Not really mid-mount, it's more forward mount, but not all the way up to the bow. So I worry about that the proprietariness of it. You know, if Old Town goes to if they redesign the Sportsman line and they redesign the trolling motor to be a little different, that it no longer fits, then what? With a Motor Guide XI3, granted it's all the way up on the bow, but you take it off and you put another one on, and you can go get another XI3, and if you can't get another XI3, you find something else that fits. The animals, let me answer your comment there, even though you didn't ask me to. Oh, rod number 3, I see the line moving a lot. Waiting for the rod to move, but the line was moving, and there's not a lot of wind. Oh, it's about to, come on, you can do this, you can do this. Because a kayak goes so dead blame slow, come on, you can do this. I'm going to reel down on it and give it a little pressure. So when I'm in my kayak, I have to go slow. Mine will get about 3.8 miles an hour with me. There, we got a fish on. I don't know why my drag is all set so low. I should flip those over. But when I'm sitting that close to the water, I feel like one with nature. When I'm in my boat, I don't. Come on, I need to see a tail. I need to see something that says you want a turtle. There's that tail. This was almost a respectable size for a park pond. Boy, this thing is dark. I mean dark. Open up, honey. Did you tear my hook off? Nope, it's still there. Come here. Boy. I say, boy, you can't jump worth a lick. There he is. Look at that big, thick head. The body does not match the head. Beautiful fish. He wanted to go a little faster than I was walking, apparently. So, the other thing that the kayak does for you, Dan, because you're forced to go slow, you need to pick apart the water you're in. When you're in a boat, it's easy to go, well, I'm going to go fish way over there. Crap, there's nothing here. Let me go to the other side of the lake. 3 to 4, 5 if you're pushing it miles an hour. So when you're thinking about going a mile and it takes you 15 freaking minutes, you get real picky. I said a wordy dirt? Alright, I'm skipping a bunch of stuff. So, I still have my 17.5 foot tracker deep V. And it's good for going out in Mississippi. And it's good for going anywhere, actually. But if you've ever had the privilege of being on a no-wake lake, doesn't matter how big that 115 horsepower motor on the back is going to get, or how fast it'll go, you're going 4 miles an hour under penalty of getting a big old ticket. But just being as low as you are in a kayak, being able to just literally set your hand down into the water, I feel so much closer to nature. When I roll it over, Dell, yes, I feel even closer. So I understand the thought process behind, well, if I'm going to spend that much, I'll just get a boat. They're really two different animals. My boat sat in my garage for 2 years doing nothing. I was actually going to sell it, but my girlfriend's like, well, you know, I like the idea of having a boat, so I added the kayak. The kayak was going to was really going to be the replacement for the boat. And the reason it sat there was because I didn't have a way to take it anywhere, because my girlfriend my ex-girlfriend had the SUV, and my car will not pull a boat. Now, it'd be cheap to spend what they're asking for these dirty word trucks right now. Now, the other thing you need to know about a kayak the whole California idea that you just throw that sucker on top of your car, you know, with 3 fingers, that is bull hockey. I can't imagine trying to put mine on top of a car. I'm sure I could do it, but then I have to go back, and when I pull it off, I have to add the seat, the battery box, the motor, all of my tackle, anything I want to carry with me on my rides, everything, all has to be added back in. And my kayak weighs over 100 pounds without any of that other stuff on it. Throw and go kayaks, those 60-pound jobs, they're paddle only, and that's fine if you're a skinny guy, and it'll hold your ass out of the water. The other thing is, if you get a kayak, you tether down anything you don't want to replace. Because you roll it over. When I rolled mine over, I got lucky. I only lost one Plano 3700 box, and it was my catfishing box. But it was at least $100 worth of stuff that I lost in that one box. Hooks, sinkers, swivels, floats, sinkers. So much for lead being a non-precious metal. The Plano box itself. And it was my fault because I didn't pack, you know, a small box with 10 hooks in it. It was pretty much every catfish hook I owned. Actually, probably every hook I owned, or darn close to it. It was loaded up pretty good. Anyway, just extra information. Well, if you can't figure it out, I guess I'll tell you. I'm about to call it a night because I was hoping Ashley was going to come visit. I mean, she ran around the lake and said hey from a distance, but I was kind of hoping she'd come over after she was done running, and she went and took a shower instead, which is perfectly understandable, given how hot and sweaty she had to be. Probably hungry. But I'm going to take just a minute and get a little sappy with you guys. So there's that. I have been honored this last week specifically, and even before then, but this last week, the amount of support that all of you have shown me has been overwhelming. I know, you know, I try to support everybody. I know I'm a small channel, and I know that I don't really have much more saying. God knows I ain't catching a whole bunch of fish. I did catch one, and we all saw it. But just the love and the support and the good-natured ribbing, I can't thank y'all enough. I really can't. I never realized, because I never took this seriously. I mean, I've had a channel for, heck, I had a firearms channel close to 10 years ago. Never went anywhere either. I just didn't care. It wasn't worth it, right? I go into y'all's lives, right? I enjoy your videos. I realize that I'm not at that level, and I talk myself out of it. But just the fact that y'all took time out of your day to come in and even say hi, to watch this video, I can't say thank you enough. Special thanks to Cindy for turning me on to the sound and the shorts, and people just pushing me. Because the last couple of trips that I've done down to Pensacola, almost every video I've taken of fishing, I have not been happy with at all. to the point that I'm like, there is nothing useful in here. And, you know, to get 10,000 likes, or 10,000 views, I should say, on a silly hermit crab walking around on a mat that I, again, overwhelmed. Thank you all so much. You guys are amazing. You truly are. I value each and every one of you. I may give you crap left and right. Y'all may give me crap left and right. But y'all are good folks. And I never really understood up until very recently. You know, the people that say, well, you know, I got a whole lot of friends online. I'm like, oh, you have acquaintances. No, y'all have shown the hell up. You have shown up in force. And I appreciate you. I truly do. Especially, not just those channels, but, you know, people like Hitch by Hitch, who, I don't know why he's here. I mean, you know, I picked him up from Earl. He and Earl have things in common. He and Earl know each other. That's great. That's wonderful. But he's coming in here and he's showing me support from a couple thousand miles away. He's sitting in here watching me be an idiot, which I can't believe anybody would watch that. I am impressed. I truly am, and I am blessed, and kind of like when Seago said I was right about something earlier and he'll never repeat it. That's kind of how I feel. I wanted to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. Y'all are, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Anyway, I'm going home. I'm going to see my girl. And you guys have a wonderful evening. And thank you all for watching. Until next time, see ya!